Hi library friends, this is Miss Cindy from the Crown Point Community Library, and today I'm bringing the library into your home with a special summer reading project. So this is our very first week of summer reading, and our theme this year is Tales and Tales. So this year we're going to be combining our love of books and our love of animals and putting that all together. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing this summer is every week we're going to have something called a Merlin's Mission. And Merlin is the wizard from the Magic Treehouse books. I don't know if you've read them. If not, they're a great series to read. And we'll be talking about some of the different animals that are involved in that series. And then I have a STEM activity, some type of science experiment or some type of learning experience that you can have that goes along with what I read. So let's see what we have today. So our very first Merlin's Mission is all about animals hearing, about how animals have specialized hearing so that they can detect whenever there's danger. So I am going to begin by reading a little bit from this book. This is book number 6. It's Afternoon on the Amazon. And if you're familiar with the Magic Treehouse books, you know that Jack and Annie are the main characters, and they live in Pennsylvania, but they have this treehouse that when they go into it and they end up in another place, another part of the country or another part of the world or different time period, and they have a mission that they have to try to solve. So this is Afternoon on the Amazon. So obviously they're going to be going to the Amazon rainforest, and I'm just going to read a small section, but I'm going to start where they talk about how animals hear. So the weird noise grew louder and louder. Maybe the book explains it, says Jack. He opened the book and he found a picture of different animals running together. And he read, "When animals hear a crackling sound, they flee in panic. The sound means that 30 million flesh-eating army ants are marching through the dead leaves." "It's army ants," cried Jack. "Millions of them." "Where?" cried Annie. Jack and Annie looked around wildly. "There." So I know that was just a little short section, but did you hear the part? So it says, when the animals hear a crackling sound, they flee in panic. So the animals that live in the Amazon rainforest, they know that when they hear this one sound, they need to flee because it's going to be these ants that are going to be coming, and it's going to be dangerous for them. So they have to get away as fast as they can. So animals have very specialized ears, and that allows them to hear sounds that we as humans don't always hear. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a science experiment today to find out about animals' hearings. So hopefully you stopped by the library and you picked up your grab and go bag. But if you didn't, the stuff that we're going to be using today is probably things that you have at home. So you're going to, in your bag, you found a newspaper. It might not look exactly like this because we had a whole bunch of different newspapers. And what you're going to do is you're going to create these tubes that when you put them at opposite sides of a room, you can hear sounds because of the way sounds travel. So let's get started. Okay, so you will need a couple of things from your house. You have the newspaper, but you will need a broomstick, or see, I have a broom, and you need a handle, something like this that's round, because what we're going to do is we're going to take this newspaper and we're going to wrap it around this broomstick. So you're just going to unwrap it, put your broomstick in the middle, and we're just going to make it into a tube. And if you got a couple extra pieces, that's okay. Wind it up into a tube. I'm going to slide it off. So now I have kind of like a telescope. All right, but it's also going to be our ears. So in order to be able to use it, I need to tape it together, right? So you can use any kind of tape for this. I have some masking tape here, but you can use Scotch tape. Actually, I have Scotch tape here too, which will be easier. So we just want it to stay in its tube shape. So I'm going to put a piece of tape at the bottom and a piece of tape near the top. And the reason for that is because we're going to now take this and cut it in half. And it doesn't have to be exactly in half. I didn't have to measure it. But now I have 2 tubes. So now you might want to just add a little bit more tape if needed, just to keep it closed. All right, so there's one. And there's two. So the other thing that you need for this science experiment is you need a friend, a parent, a sibling, somebody else who can do it with you. Because what you're going to do is one person is going to go to you have to go to a corner of the room. And so if you have the bag, that all this is explained with that, but you're going to go to a corner. You're going to put the tube to your ear and put it into the corner of the room. It doesn't need to be touching the wall, but it does need to be in a corner. The other person is going to go on the opposite side of the room to a different corner, and they're going to, rather than putting it near their ear, they're going to hold their tube up, and they're going to make some type of quiet sound. Now you want enough space that the idea is that the person who's holding the tube by their ear wouldn't normally hear that sound. I have a jingle bell. It's just a quiet sound, but you could use a sound on a phone. You could get like two sticks and tap them together. You could just decide however you want to do it. Whatever type of small sound. You could even whisper. So I could even whisper into it. But I have a jingle bell that I would ring, and then the person who is on this side with the tube up to their ear should be able to hear the sound and maybe be able to tell you what it is. Or if you whisper something, maybe they could tell you what you said. So this is just to kind of show you how animals how they hear things that are sounds that we normally wouldn't be able to hear, but they can, how it's amplified. It gives that sense. So when you're working on this, if you try it at first and it doesn't seem to work right, then the thing with science is you have to go back and try to figure out what you could do differently to make it work better. So maybe, even if it does work, maybe you want to try some different things. You should have enough newspaper that, what if you made the newspaper thicker? You used more sheets of paper. Or what if you made these tubes longer or shorter? Would it change the sounds or how you hear them? So play around with it, see what you'd come up with. And I would love for you to stop by the library and tell me about it and tell me if it worked and what you heard, and if you modified it at all, if you made any changes, what made it better or what made it worse. Take care, have a great day, and I will see you next week for the second of the Merlin's missions.